Welcome to midweek reflections at St. Paul Lutheran Church. Today is March 17th, 2021. A reading from Ruth, chapter 1, verses 12 through 18. Turn back, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I should have a husband tonight and bear sons, would you then wait until they were grown? Would you then refrain from marrying? No, my daughters. It has been far better for me than for you, because the hand of the Lord has turned against me. Then they wept aloud again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not press me to leave you or to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die. There will I be buried. May the Lord do thus and so to me, and more as well, if even death parts me from you." When Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to her. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Five verses. In the first 5 verses of the book of Ruth, 3 different people die, all of them in the same family. We hear that Naomi was married to a man named Elimelech. They had 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. Well, after the 2 sons were born, Elimelech died. Later, the 2 sons grew up and each of them married. One wife was Orpah and the other was Ruth. But then the 2 sons also died, leaving only the 3 women, the mother and her 2 daughters. That's what those 5 verses tell us. Well, obviously, a lot of time had passed in those verses, but all of those years are summed up in just a few sentences that are all about death. Plus, in that day, women were defined by the men in their lives. With the loss of her husband and her sons, Naomi was basically a woman without an identity. She had no family connections and was forgotten by many. She thought her only chance now was to go back to Judah, where Elimelech was from. And maybe somebody there would take pity on her and take her in and care for her. She even told her 2 daughters-in-law to go back to their father's homes and try to find new husbands. Naomi had basically given up on life. And maybe you felt that way too. Maybe you have had so much bad stuff happen to you recently, or just within the last year, that you have felt like giving up too. Maybe for you, if you had to summarize this last year of your life, it would be like the opening to Naomi's story. It would be death. Everything you knew has changed. There's no other way to say it. Therefore, Naomi felt completely alone. Even though she had these 2 daughters-in-law, she tried to send them back to their families of origin. She explained that she wouldn't be angry at them if they left her. She wanted them to go, because maybe they could start over and have a new life. She was trying to look out for them, even if nobody was looking out for her. Well, Orpah agreed and left. Nothing against Orpah, right? Naomi wanted her to go. It was a good choice for Orpah. But Ruth, she stayed with Naomi. Listen to what Ruth said to her. "Do not press me to leave you or turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God." Right? Ruth wasn't just saying that she was going to stick with Naomi. She was also saying that Naomi was now her family. She was leaving behind her former life and her family of origin. She was giving up on the chance to find another husband, like Orpah did. She was purposefully sacrificing all of these things. Why? Because she loved Naomi. Imagine how Naomi felt. Right, there she was, thinking that everything she cared about in her life was gone. That her identity was gone, that her future was gone. She was thinking that she would just return to Judah and slowly count down the days until she died too. But that didn't happen. Instead, Ruth stuck with her. Who has been a Ruth to you this past year? Who has reminded you that they go with you? Who has given you the hope you needed to keep on going? In those times when you thought all hope was lost, when you thought this year couldn't get any worse, when it seemed like nothing was going your way, who did you notice who was standing right there beside you? Sometimes God reminds us of hope by giving us people who walk beside us. And who has been a Naomi to your Ruth? Who have you supported and walked with? Who have you served and taken care of? Who have you encouraged and given hope to? Right, I imagine that there are people in your life who have been touched by your presence with them too. People who appreciate your support. People who don't feel as alone because you are there with them. When it seems like everything is falling apart, God works through others for us. And God works through us for others. Social distancing and travel restrictions and not getting hugs, all of that has been hard on all of us. But look around you. Look at the people who remind you that you are not alone. They are with you. And more importantly, God is with you. Also, look around at those who see you as their reminder of hope. As the story of Ruth and Naomi continues, the two of them remain the best support system for each other. At the beginning of this story, this is probably not how they thought their lives were going to turn out. But God was still at work. When this pandemic started, this is not how we thought life was going to turn out either. But God is still at work here too. God is still working for you, and God is still working through you. Even in a pandemic, God is still our hope.